Welcome to Bentonville. I'm at Big Sugar, which is the last race of the season as part of the Lifetime Grand Prix, which has been a season-long competition where some of the best gravel riders of the world have been fighting for victory. But I'm not interested in the racing, I'm interested in all of the hot tech. So over my shoulder is the Bike Expo. Let's go check it out. I mean, people talk about the spirit of gravel. What the hell even is the spirit of gravel when you start to involve wheels like this? Fear not, this is not the wheel that GTN have used. This is actually a gravel wheel from Head, and it's based around the Jet 180 that we've seen used at the Kona Ironman World Championships. But this is a slightly different one, because underneath this whopping great big carbon fibre skin is the Head Emporia wheel, which is their gravel wheel set. So that means we've got a carbon fibre rim, which underneath is 30mm deep and has got a 25mm internal rim width. Now, this wheel is clearly all about speed on fast, flat courses. You're not going to want to use something like this when a lot of climbing is involved. In terms of the weight, this gravel wheel is actually slightly lighter than the road version. The road wheel weighs 1190 grams. However, underneath the carbon fibre skin, it has an aluminium rim, whereas, as I mentioned, this one is carbon fibre. I mean, this is absolutely nuts. You know what we need to do? We need to free up sound check this bad boy. It's the sound of aero gravel. This wheel is already making it onto the podiums in races. So Chase Walk has literally finished second place in the Nebraska Gravel Worlds really recently on this. And would you believe it, as I was sat here a minute ago, he literally walked past with one of these bad boys in his bike. You literally couldn't make that up. Okay, so over my shoulder, we've got the Panaracer stand, and the guys there are like, look, we need to bring back coloured tyres. They've tried it with the road community a few years ago. Road bikers don't seem to want coloured tyres, but gravel riders, I mean, they're a lot braver, they're bold, they're out there, they're going for some coloured tyres. Now, Panaracer tell me that every year they release just 2 different colours of tyres, and they only produce them in a few thousand, so fairly limited numbers. And I really like the fact that they chop and change it round. So this year we've got turquoise and orange. Also, you can get them in a tan or a black sidewall. We've got 2 different options here. You've got like a semi-slick version and one with a little bit more tread in the centre. Now, Big Sugar is renowned for being super tough on your tyres. So all around the place, we've got lots of people talking about, oh, what tyres are you going for? What pressure have you got? Added puncture protection in the sidewalls. But no one's been mentioning coloured tyres yet, so hopefully we might start to see a bit more of this. Anyway, I love them. Okay, if you're a Moots fanboy or fangirl, sit down because you might be slightly shocked. This is a carbon e-gravel bike from Moots. Yes, there's no titanium on here. Well, I mean, there's the bottle cages and the head badge. So, I've just been over to chat to the guys at Moots and I just said, look, why? Why have you made this? And quite a simple answer really. They felt like they just wanted to make an e-gravel bike, but in order to construct it using titanium, which is their sort of USP, that as a material doesn't lend itself to fitting the motor and the battery in. And they said, yes, it would be possible to make a titanium e-gravel bike, and there are others out there, but it would end up being crazy expensive and actually quite heavy because a titanium tube large enough to fit the battery in doesn't exist. So what they've done is teamed up with the same carbon manufacturer, which already makes their carbon fibre forks, and constructed this bad boy. It weighs 15 kilograms and it's surprisingly light when you pick it up. I know that feels odd to say, I've just said 15 kilograms, but whatever. I think it's cool. Let me know in the comments section down below whether you rate it or hate it. So I've just dropped by to see the guys at Wolf Tooth Components and Otso Bikes. I've got this really cool dropper seat post, but stick with me because I know you might be thinking this is more of a mountain bike thing. But if you've got a burly gravel bike, a dropper post makes complete sense. But what's new and exciting about this one? Well, it's self-bleeding. So if you're familiar with a dropper post, you will find that over time, it starts to sag. But every time you compress this, it self-bleeds to get any air out of the system so that it keeps it running sweet. Also, something else I want to show you, chain guides, chain keepers. Now, one by is massive in gravel, so it's really important to keep your chain on your single chain ring because you haven't got a front derailleur to put it back on. So there's some really cool chain guides here, but this one specifically they've developed to work with the bikes that Jumbo Visma are using on the Velos because, well, they're big into going one by on the road at the moment. So yeah, loads of really cool stuff on their stand. Next bike I want to show you is something that you might have not heard before. It's an OBED GVR, which stands for Graveler. It's named after a wild river in Tennessee. Now, they're a direct-to-consumer brand, and this is their prism finish, which in this sunlight looks absolutely ridiculous. What makes this bike unique? Well, they're saying it's designed to be fast, compliant in all the areas that you want it to be compliant in, and really stiff in the areas that you want it to be stiff in. And also, because they're direct to consumer, it means that everyone can choose all of the individual parts that can be tweaked to be set up exactly how you want your bike. I think it's one hell of a look up. Right, seeing as we're a few days out from race day, I thought it'd be a good idea, drop by the Silca stand, get some last minute gains, right? So, aero socks, these are gonna save you in the region of around 5 watts. What does that actually mean over a big long gravel race like we're doing? Well, over the 100-mile event, wearing just these socks is gonna save us in the region of, say, anywhere between 3 and 5 minutes for riding at the same speed. I mean, why would you not want that? Also, the guys have hooked us up with fresh wax chains. Now, I did arrive in the US with a wax chain, but we've done quite a lot of riding, so putting a fresh one on, again, it's gonna help speed us up. What else have we got that's really cool? So recently, Silca have released 3D printed titanium derailleur hangers. At the moment, they only have 8 to 9 different versions available, but they tell me that they're constantly expanding this range, and if you fill out the form on their website and they get enough people, well, they'll start making even more of them. Also, I was asking them what this little bottle was for. Turns out, it's just got a Silca sticker on it. You can put your own chain lube in here and take it out on big epic gravel adventures, but they said if you put lube in this that isn't Silca's own branded one, the bottle will just melt and evaporate. No, I'm making all that up, it's fine. See you in a bit. Now, titanium is a material which really lends itself to gravel riding. It's lightweight and robust. Now, this is the Toscano FI from Lightspeed, and it's their most high performance lightweight gravel race bike. What is really interesting about this is if you take a closer look at the top tube, because it's actually formed from a flat sheet of titanium shaped into the unique shape that it has, and then is welded all the way along the base of the top tube here, and then polished and buffed back to be really smooth and flat. Now, the reason they've done this is because it allows it to be a thinner walled material, and by using this shape it means it can be really wide back at this seat tube junction, which means the seat stays as they come up and meet the tube, can be even wider, and that is what's given this bike extra wide tyre clearance. Now, being the FI model means we've got fully integrated cables and hoses, so it's using the NV system up front and the NV fork, so that the cables and hoses are internal all the way through to the rear brake caliper, and it's got the T47i bottom bracket in there as well. It's a pretty neat looking bike, this. I do like it. This is not a shoelace, nor is it a toy for a cat. This is a spoke from Bird Spokes, and they build up to some incredibly lightweight wheels. And then, according to Bird, the biggest difference that these spokes make is not only the fact that they're super lightweight, but also has a big impact on the compliance and vibrations which are transferred through the bike and through to the rider. Now, let me have a closer look here. So if you see, this is the spoke. But what makes this really interesting is the way that the actual spoke lace material is held in place onto a little metal rod at the end. Now, the guys at Bird were just telling me there's a small little bit of adhesive on here, but that is only really serving the purpose of stopping this piece falling out when the spoke is not under tension. So let me use this to explain here. So this is a little finger trap. So what it means is the more you pull it, the more tension there is holding it in place, and that's the exact same principle that is applied to the spokes. Once it's under tension, there's literally no way that this is coming loose. Now, in terms of the weight, here is a bag of your traditional spokes. 64 metal spokes, 516 grams. Here, 64 spokes, 170 grams. Quick maths, that's nearly a 350 gram saving. I think it's 346, there you go. Anyway, super cool. They come in loads of different colours, fit onto Bird's hubs, which have got these special cutouts for the loops at the end, but also you can build them up onto straight pull or J-bend hubs. Pretty neat, eh? It's thirsty work talking about this bike tech. Let's go get a drink. I better give Bird their spokes and wheel back as well. Black cherry, sparkling water. I mean, it's 10 to 6. It's not beer o'clock yet, is it? If you were fortunate enough to be at the Global Bike Festival this year, you would have already seen this bike, but if not, let me tell you a little bit more about it. It's the Allied Echo. Get this right, it's designed to be a bike which doubles up as like your gravel bike and your road bike / all-terrain bike. The way that it's achieving this is through these little flip chips here. So you've got a set on the fork and a set at the rear dropouts. What that enables you to do is effectively adjust the geometry and the tyre clearance on this bike. So at the moment, it's set up in its gravel setting, which means you've got clearance for up to a 40mm tyre. Put it into its more road-orientated setting, well, you've got clearance for a 30mm tyre. Now, what is actually bonkers and super cool about this is the bike is actually made less than 5 miles away from where I'm standing right now. So Allied are based in Bentonville. Not only are they making the carbon fibre parts, they're also doing like machining of the stem, manufacturing all of their own hardware and stuff like that. And the actual paintwork on this bike is a $1,500 extra, and that's just to reflect on all of the extra hours and labour that goes into creating this absolutely beautiful finish. I'm actually just lost for words, to be honest, at how amazing it is. Making bikes comfortable and compliant to make them faster is what lots of different brands are doing. Now, BMC's solution to it is this, it's the unrestricted. So up front, we've got this sort of suspension element incorporated into the steer tube. It provides 20mm of travel, and there are 3 different springs which go inside so you can adjust and tweak the ride characteristics depending on the rider weight. You've got a little remote lockout on the top of the steer tube here, and if we move to the back of the bike, you've got the XL damper, which allows for 10mm of movement back here. Now, this is a sort of high-tech material, considerably different to those rubber elastomers that we saw on bikes in yesteryear, which would have been really firm in the cold temperature and then go really soft in the warm. This one is not affected by any temperature, so you're getting the same ride characteristics regardless of what conditions you go in. So this is the GS1 from Ventum. Something I've noticed here is a setup which I've seen loads and loads of people starting to use. I saw it most recently at the Gravel World Championships. And that is thanks to the use of the UDH rear derailleur hanger. We're seeing riders starting to use like road cranksets and chainrings up front, and then in the back we're using these absolutely massive mountain bike cassettes and mountain bike derailleurs. It's sort of really opening up the scope for tweaking and refining your gear setup to give you that super wide range, while also having the benefits of a 1x setup. In terms of the GS1 from Ventum, well, they're sort of going down the mindset of having just one frame set available for their gravel range, and then allowing you to build and spec it exactly how you like. So you could be, say, a little bit friendly on the budget, shall we say, or you can just go all guns blazing and have every single thing you want. If you look down here at the forks, you've got a little flip chip in here, which is allowing you to change the wheelbase of the bike, and depending on which setting you have it on, you can make the wheelbase either 5mm longer or 5mm shorter, just to sort of either add a bit of stability into the ride or sharpen up the handling a little bit. It's also available in a 1x and 2x option. And we've got this neat little cover here, making everything looking pretty slick, eh? That's hot tech done and dusted here at Big Sugar. Please do let me know in the comments section down below what bit of cool tech you found the most interesting. And well, if you want to see more cool bike tech videos, you know what to do. Subscribe to GCN Tech and turn on your notifications. Well, right, we're a couple of days out from race day. Sign on is just over my shoulder. Let's get sorted for the race. See you later. Subscribe to GCN for that one. See ya.